For most businesses, finance feels like something that just happens to them. It's this external force of markets and regulations that you have to react to. But what if that whole way of thinking is just completely outdated? Well, in this explainer, we're going to flip that script. We're going to transform your understanding of finance from some outside factor into a core strategic ecosystem you can actually navigate and even use to your advantage.
Okay, let's get right to the heart of it. This is the big mindset shift. On one hand, you've got the traditional view. Finance is just the environment your business lives in. Risk? Oh, that's just some isolated event you deal with when it happens. But the ecosystem-aware view? That's a whole different ballgame. It sees finance as the strategic architecture that actually shapes every single decision you make. Risk isn't a one-off event. It's a chain reaction of interconnected shocks. And resilience? Well, that's not just about defense anymore. It's your competitive edge.
So, here's our game plan. First, we'll get a handle on this new financial reality. Then, we'll break down the 5-layer ecosystem that really defines it. After that, we get super practical. We're going to talk about mapping your company's exposure, stress testing for resilience, and finally, how to turn all this knowledge into a real, tangible intelligence advantage. All right, let's dive into the core of this framework, the 5-layer ecosystem. Seriously, think of this as the new map you absolutely need to navigate the modern financial world. It's how we're going to make sense of all the chaos and all the moving parts. Everything, and I mean everything, starts right here with layer 1, information. This is the bedrock. And it's not just about raw data. It's about the quality of that data. It's about trust, integrity, and the security of the systems that carry it all. Because let's be honest, if you can't trust the information, the entire system just falls apart.
So what are we really talking about inside this layer? Well, it's the crucial stuff, like solid data governance, the cybersecurity standards that protect you from those nightmare breaches, and the disclosure requirements that keep everyone honest. It's also the front line in the battle against misinformation and fraud. Next up, layer 2, infrastructure. I love this analogy of the hidden plumbing. That's exactly what it is. This layer is all about those essential, often invisible systems that let capital and payments flow smoothly, just like water through pipes in a building. And this plumbing is made of some pretty important parts. We're talking about everything from the stock markets, where you might raise capital, to the payment systems that process every single one of your transactions. It even includes new stuff like digital currencies. If this layer gets clogged or breaks, your business can literally grind to a halt.
Okay, now we get to layer 3, and this is where things get really interesting. The innovation layer. This is the wild, fast-moving frontier where technology is constantly rewriting the rules of the game. It's where the future of finance is being built right now, and that creates both incredible opportunities and some brand new, unforeseen risks.
And look what's in here. We are talking about absolute game changers. AI is completely transforming risk analysis. Open finance is creating these amazing interconnected platforms. Tokenization is changing the very definition of what an asset can even be. These aren't just buzzwords, folks. They are actively reshaping corporate strategy as we speak. Now for layer 4, the integration layer. This is where we zoom out. It's where the financial system plugs into the wider world. Think of it as this massive web of external forces, social, economic, environmental, that sets the stage for everything that happens in the financial markets. For example, climate change isn't just an environmental headline. For your business, it's a direct financial risk. A geopolitical event halfway around the world can instantly change capital flows. And huge demographic shifts, they change consumer behavior and long-term demand. All these global trends hit your bottom line one way or another. And finally, holding this entire thing together is layer 5, governance. This is the rule book. It's the whole institutional and political framework that sets the standards and provides the oversight that gives the entire ecosystem its stability and, frankly, its legitimacy. So this is where you find all the financial regulations your company has to follow, the emerging global standards for things like nature-related disclosures, and maybe, most importantly, the crisis management protocols that kick in when the whole system is under stress. Okay, so we have our 5 layers, but here's the big question. How does this abstract model actually help you in the real world? Well, this next part is all about applying this framework directly to your company to see where you are truly exposed. This visual right here is the key to everything. Just look at how shocks from any of those layers, whether it's a cyber attack, a payment system failure, a new regulation,
They don't just stay in their own lane. Nope. They travel right to the heart of your business, your balance sheet. They impact your cash, your debt, your day-to-day operations. This is so critical to understand. These aren't separate risks. They are all interconnected.
So knowing where you're exposed is step one. But step two is about getting ahead of the game. It's about proactively preparing for disruptions. And that brings us to our next practical tool, a framework for stress testing your company's resilience before a crisis ever hits.
Now, this is not a one-and-done checklist. It's a continuous loop, a cycle of getting stronger. First, you design plausible scenarios. What if a cyber attack happens at the same time as a major supply chain disruption? Second, you assess the real impact on your finances and your reputation. Third, you fine-tune your response plans. And finally, and this is key, you learn and you adapt. It's a cycle of constant improvement.
So, after all this work, what's the ultimate payoff? It's not just about playing defense and surviving. It's about creating a powerful source of competitive advantage. It's about turning all this insight into a strategic weapon.
The big idea here is something called ecosystem intelligence. And what is that? It's the ability to not just see what's happening, but to actually sense, interpret, and then act on signals from the entire financial environment. It's the powerful combination of being resilient against shocks while also being more competitive because you can anticipate change before your rivals even see it coming. And hey, this isn't just some nice theory. The evidence, as you can see right here, is crystal clear. Firms with a higher ecosystem awareness score just perform better. And we're talking about real, tangible benefits. A lower cost to capital because investors see you as a safer bet. Greater operational efficiency, and a much stronger reputation in the market.
Let's just let this sink in for a second, because it really sums up our entire journey today. Resilience is a source of competitive advantage. It's a total shift from seeing resilience as just a cost center to seeing it as a value driver that actually helps you win.
So, I'll leave you with a question to take back to your team. I want you to look hard at your current strategy, at your risk models, at your planning processes, and ask yourselves, are they built for the simple, siloed financial world of the past, or are they built for the complex, interconnected, and dynamic ecosystem that exists right now? Because honestly, the answer to that question could define your company's future,